Well, welcome back to the Gritty Glitter Badger podcast, the place where I talk real training, real mindset, and real sweat, minus the BS, the fake smiles, and the filtered BS. This is literally me, all natural. In fact, hopefully you can hear me over. I have a fan on because I'm having the meat sweats right now. And so the fan is on and I'm hoping that you can hear me over the fan because I'm not turning it off because I'm sweating. But anyway, so whether you're deep into your conditioning block, half dreading your Metcon, or just quietly seething at the memory of the last time you touched the rower, for me, it's going to be the last time I used the ass bike, the assault bike. Today's episode is here to let you know that you are not alone. And this one, I'm actually going to be reading more than I will be just free flowing because this one's a bit of a love letter, or maybe it's a, cautionary tale because it depends on the day. Because cardio, I mean, seriously, she's not a phase. She is a full blown relationship with highs and lows and ghosting and betrayals, gaslighting, reconciliation, and somehow very committed to her. And like any other emotionally complicated relationship, I've got some things to say. So here it is, one long, continuous, occasionally wheezing confessional to the many forms of cardio that I have and that most of you have all tangled with. So let's cruise on into today's episode. Cardio, you chaotic soulmate. A letter from a lover who's not always loving it. So you, sprints, you've always been the short, intense type, the one who makes a scene, burns bright, and disappears before I can fully catch my breath. You ask me for everything in seconds, not hours, and somehow that's part of your magic. You don't let me coast. You demand presence, power, focus. And even when I show up on shore, distracted, or just plain tired and exhausted, you snap me out of it. You wake something up that I didn't even realize had dozed off. And when I walk away from you, lungs lit, legs torched, fire breathing, coughing because I'm so tanked and tired, I feel clear. Like all the noise got burned out somewhere between the first 50 meters and the last gasp of oxygen. But for every sprint that sharpens me, there's a machine waiting. It tries to unmake me completely. Which brings me to you, assault bike, or as I lovingly call it, the ass bike, the infamous, dreadful nemesis of my life, ass bike. You are not flirtatious. You do not play fair. You don't even have the decency to warm me up gently. You just hit me hard from the first pedal stroke to the last second of suffering. You offer nothing but resistance, regret, and resentment. And yet I come back. Somehow I keep convincing myself that this time it won't be awful. And yet, spoiler, it always is. You break me down in seconds. You make me question my goals, choices, my basic will to exist. But maybe that's the draw. Maybe it's the fact that every time I survive you, I will always walk away a little scrappier, a little more gritty. You don't build character, you expose it. And just when I think I've seen the worst of you, there you go again, whispering sweet nothings like calories per minute. But for all of your intensity, sometimes I need something a little less, mechanical and more feral and wild, which is where trail running enters. All effortless beauty and rugged demand. You seduce me with birdsong and filtered, beautiful sunlight and crunchy gravel underfoot, huge boulders, mud, all the things, bugs and spider webs and glorious nature abounds. You lure me in the downhill breezes and that feeling of being free and fast and light until the incline hits. And then you humble me. You turn the volume up on every breath, every step, every why did I think this was a good idea internal monologue. But I keep going because deep in between the gasps and the grunts, you remind me what it means to move through something hard and come out on the other side, sweaty, spent, and strangely centered and ready for more. You're not always fun, but you always show me something true, something that I wouldn't find anywhere else. And then just when I think I've got a rhythm going, just when I think I've cracked the code of pacing and breath, I stumble into the chaotic arms of EMOMs and AMRAPs. EMOM, every minute on the minute, and AMRAP, as many reps or rounds as possible. If you don't know what that means, you two are deceptive. You look harmless on paper. I've always said it. It looked easy on paper, structured, bite-sized, almost polite. 12 minutes, 5 rounds, sounds cute, sounds doable. And yet, 3 minutes in, I've forgotten how to count. My forearms are shaking, and I'm pretty sure I'm speaking in tongues. I know I'm swearing, that's for sure. You sneak up on me like the unassuming side dish that ends up being the spiciest thing on the plate. And still, I crave you because there's something soul satisfying in the breakdown, something clean in the way you force me to go harder, faster, and deeper. And then remind me that the clock doesn't care how I feel. You burn me down and rebuild me in the same session. And somehow I always come back for more. And of course, there's one move that never pretends to be charming. No frills, no finesse, just pure, unfiltered effort. And that's you, Burpees. We've never really gotten along, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. You're the workout equivalent of tough love, minus the love. But damn it, I will take you over the ass bike any day. And you work. You bring out the kind of resilience that only shows up in moments of total exhaustion and pure willpower. You make me feel capable of surviving almost anything. Almost anything. Actually, I'm not going to lie. I'll survive anything if I've overcome the ass bike and you, physical, emotional, and existential. You're not elegant, but you are so damn effective. So no, I'll never like you, but I won't deny what you do for me either, even if every rep feels like a mini revolt. And then after all of that fire and fury, sometimes what I need is a different kind of challenge, a quieter one, the kind that doesn't scream for attention, but stays steady. And that's where you come in, zone 2. You're soft-spoken, slow-burning genius. You don't ask for intensity, you ask for consistency. You don't give me immediate gratification, but you offer something better, foundation. You've taught me to sit in the subtle work, the kind that builds endurance, balances hormones, and calms my nervous system instead of lighting it up like a pinball machine. But you're also the kind of training that builds capacity quietly. While the rest of the world is chasing dopamine hits, you've taught me that not every win has to come from max effort. Sometimes it comes from showing up at 70% and staying there, steady, intentional, and present. And when I'm feeling the steadiness, sometimes I get bold. Sometimes I decide to flirt with grace and brutality all over again, which is how I end up back with you, rowing. You are the shapeshifter. One moment I'm gliding, shoulders packed, core on, feeling powerful, and maybe even slightly poetic. Then the next, I'm 400 meters deep in an interval piece. My grip is failing. My breath has gone rogue or totally exited my body completely. And I'm pretty sure my spine and my butt just filed for early retirement. You're smooth until you're not. But when you find your rhythm, when I find my rhythm, it's magic. And it gave me lats on fire and presence in motion. But you demand that I pay attention to posture, to pacing. And even though I have pterodactyl arms, it's every little micro adjustment that keeps things moving. You don't let me zone out. And maybe that's the point. Then again, there are days when I don't want rhythm. I don't want explosive power or max output or spreadsheets full of rounds and reps and EMOMs and AMRAPs. I want something simple, something gritty, quietly hard. And that's why I ruck. There's nothing flashy about you. Just weight on my back and time on my feet. You don't need music or timers. You just ask me to move forward, to carry what's mine. And sometimes literal, sometimes not. You've taught me the value of monotony, of showing up without fanfare, and of walking through something heavy and not needing to rush to the other side. You make me feel like the kind of woman who could carry her groceries, her baggage, and everything else uphill without complaint, maybe even with a little pride. And at the end of it all, sprints, bikes, rows, rucks, trails, burpees, EMOMs, AMRAPs, slow slogs, and all the weird hybrids in between, there's one thing I've come to understand. Cardio isn't the enemy. It's not punishment. It's not a tool to burn calories or earn food or prove anything. It's a mirror, a mechanism, a movement through the layers of self-doubt and pride and grit and identity. Cardio doesn't care how I look. It cares how hard I show up. And when I do, even when I don't feel like it, even when I curse every rep, and believe me, that happens often, I leave a little stronger than I arrived. So that's today's sweaty, sarcastic, surprisingly heartfelt letter to the messiest love affair in fitness that I know of, cardio. So if you saw yourself in any of these words, if you've ever muttered never again, along with many, many expletives while secretly knowing you'll be back tomorrow, well, welcome. You're one of us. So thanks for hanging out with me in this wildly real corner of the Gritty Glitter Badger podcast. And be sure and head over to Spotify and follow me and leave me a review in the comments, 5-star review. The more reviews that I have, the more people that this gets out to. I also post these on YouTube, so be sure to like, subscribe, share, leave comments. I'm available on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Audible as well. So thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, Badger out.